The coach humiliated me in front of the entire team and said, "You'll never become a professional soccer player." 15 years later, I owned that team. My first act was to fire that coach. But my real revenge was much bigger. My name is Alex Rivera. I'm 35 years old now, but this story began when I was 18 in Chicago. I was playing in Chicago Fire FC's youth team. My dream was to become a professional soccer player in MLS, until that cursed Tuesday when head coach Marcus Thompson humiliated me in front of everyone. That day we were at team practice. The end of the season was approaching and they were selecting players to move up to the professional team. I was one of the most promising names on that list. For 3 years I hadn't missed a single practice, played my heart out in every game. "Rivera," Coach Marcus shouted. "Come here." I ran to him. My teammates also stopped, curious about what would happen. "Alex," he said in a harsh voice, "you will never make it to the professional level. Your technical ability is average. Your physical build is weak. You have no mental strength. Face the facts. You're not cut out for this." My teammates were looking at me. Some were sad, some were shocked. Marcus continued, "I'm asking your family, please tell this kid to go to college. He has no future in soccer." At that moment, I was devastated. But I didn't cry. I just said, "Understood, coach," and went to the locker room. I packed my things and left. As I walked out of Chicago Fire's facilities that day, I made a promise to myself. One day I'll show this man how wrong he was. But my soccer dream ended there. I studied business at Northwestern University. I quit soccer, but I never forgot. Every day that coach's words echoed in my ears. At university, I devoted myself to technology and investment. When I graduated in 2008, I started a small tech startup with my friend Jake Martinez, TechFlow Solutions. We were developing mobile applications. The first 5 years were very tough. I was coding at night, finding customers during the day. But in 2014, the big breakthrough came. The fitness tracking app we developed went viral. It hit #1 on the Apple Store. Everything changed from that day on. We sold our company to major tech giants. I had become a millionaire at age 26, but that soccer fire inside me never died. In 2016, I made a big decision. I started sports investing. First, I sponsored small teams. Then I bought shares. My goal was clear, to return to the soccer world, but this time not on the field but in the owner's chair. For 10 years, I systematically accumulated power in the sports sector. In 2018, I became a minority shareholder in several MLS teams. In 2020, I bought 15% of Portland Timbers. In 2022, I made a big investment in Austin FC. And then in 2023, that moment came. Chicago Fire FC's owner was experiencing a financial crisis. The team hadn't made the playoffs in the last 5 years. Fan numbers had decreased. Sponsors had withdrawn. It was for sale. The moment I heard that news, my heart rate accelerated. The moment I had been waiting for 15 years had arrived. I immediately called my lawyers. "I want to buy Chicago Fire," I said. "How quickly can we handle this?" "Alex," said my lead attorney Jennifer Walsh, "this is a very big acquisition. Around $300 million. Are you sure?" "Jennifer," I said smiling, "I've been waiting for this moment for 15 years. Money doesn't matter." After 3 months of negotiations, I bought 85% of Chicago Fire FC. It became big news in local media. Young tech millionaire Alex Rivera is Chicago Fire's new owner. But nobody knew the real story. I wasn't just a wealthy investor. I was that kid who got kicked out of this team's facilities 15 years ago. My first task was to investigate Marcus Thompson's situation. He was still working at Chicago Fire. He wasn't the head coach anymore, but he was the youth coordinator. He was still crushing young soccer players' dreams. The first week after taking ownership of the team, I called a staff meeting. All coaches, technical staff, administrative personnel, at SeatGeek Stadium in the big conference room. When I took the stage, Marcus didn't recognize me. 15 years had passed. I was now a confident businessman in a suit. He was still the old coach walking around in tracksuits with a whistle. "Hello," I said into the microphone. "I'm Alex Rivera, your team's new owner. First, I want to announce that I'll be making major changes in this organization." Murmurs began in the room. Marcus was sitting in the front, taking notes. "We're going to change this team's culture," I continued. "We'll be an organization that believes in young talent, supports them, sees their potential. Because I know that sometimes the biggest stars come from the most unexpected places." Marcus looked up at me. He still hadn't recognized me. "Also," I said, raising my voice, "there's no place in this organization for anyone who belittles young soccer players, crushes their dreams, can't see their potential." At that moment, Marcus's facial expression changed. He was starting to sense something. "Marcus Thompson," I said, looking directly at him. 15 years ago, you told an 18-year-old you'll never become a professional soccer player. That young man's name was Alex Rivera." The atmosphere in the room changed. Everyone held their breath. Marcus's face went completely white. "Are you that Alex Rivera?" he stammered. "Yes, Marcus," I said, smiling. I'm that talentless, weak, mentally lacking kid. And now I'm your boss. Marcus leaned forward in his chair. He put his hands to his face. Now I'm giving you two options, I said. Either you stay here and completely change your approach, you show respect to young players, try to see their potential, or you resign and leave. Marcus stood up. Alex, I was back then? Well, you really were. Marcus, I interrupted him. Back then you tried to end my future. Now I'm deciding your future. Make your choice. Marcus bowed his head. I resign, he said quietly. Accepted, I said. HR will discuss your severance package with you. As Marcus left the room, I turned to all the remaining staff. Friends, I said. This wasn't just a personal reckoning. This was the new philosophy of this organization. From now on, Chicago Fire will support young talent. We'll believe in them. We'll give them opportunities. Applause rose, but my real work was just beginning. First, I completely renovated the team's youth academy. I brought in the best coaches. Unlike Marcus, experts who motivate young players who find their strengths. Then I strengthened the main team. I made world-class transfers. I renovated the stadium. I enhanced the fan experience. 2 years later, Chicago Fire made the playoffs. 3 years later, we were MLS Cup finalists. 4 years later, champions. But my proudest moment was the day the first player from our youth academy made it to the main team. 17-year-old Jamie Rodriguez. Exactly the type of kid Marcus would have called talentless. Small. Not fast, but smart and determined. Watching Jamie score in his first professional game, my eyes filled with tears, because he was what I couldn't be 15 years ago. But I had given him his chance. After the game, Jamie came to me. Boss, he said. Thank you for believing in me. Jamie, I said, I just gave you an opportunity. The success is yours. But remember, one day you'll also give opportunities to other young players. Today, Chicago Fire is one of MLS's most successful teams. Our youth academy is among the best. And most importantly, none of our young players leave the team without hearing you're not good enough. Marcus Thompson? He quit soccer. Last I heard he was selling insurance. Sometimes I think about him. I'm not angry anymore, because he had given me the greatest motivation. Last month I gave a speech at Northwestern University about the power of failure. I ended my last sentence like this. Sometimes the people who tell you you can't do it are actually doing you the greatest service, because they show you that you have something to prove. A student in the audience asked, Mr. Rivera, are you angry at that coach? No, I said, smiling. I thank him, because if it weren't for him, I might not be here today. Sometimes our biggest enemies in life are actually our greatest teachers. I was rejected at 18, but I came back at 35. I didn't play on the field, but I owned the field. Sometimes the greatest revenge in life is being successful and showing that success kindly to those who belittled you. Because true strength is being able to remain humble even after victory.